Hello, 7th graders. Welcome to lesson 2.1D. Congratulations. We are at the last section of lesson 2.1. Congratulations. You have done some great work. You should be really proud of yourselves. This is 2.1, part D, comparing rational numbers. Let's take a minute and please write the following vocab words. Rational number, terminating decimals, repeating decimals. And take a minute, jot down the definitions, and tomorrow we will be going over those vocab words, so make sure you have them written. Here we go. So today's essential question is, how can we use a number line to order rational numbers? And at this point we should know the word rational comes from the word ratio, and a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So if I take a look at the number 2, I can write it as 2 over 1. If I take a look at 25 hundredths, I can rewrite that as 25 over 100. 25 over 100, and I can reduce to get 1 over 4. Let's move on to the next page. What I would like for you to do is take these following 6 examples, write them down in your notebook, pause the video now, and when you hit play again, we will turn the page and I will go over all the solutions with you. So for number 1, I took negative 2 and 2/10, and I added a 0 if you notice in red. And my negative 2 and 42 hundredths, since there's 2 decimal places in 42 hundredths, I simply added this 0 here just to make this number look like it had 2 decimal places as well. So I'm going to place these on the number line, and remember, when we have 2 negatives, the number that is further or closer, closer to 0 is my solution. Okay, so let's see if I can flip this just to get it out of the way. So here we are, negative 2 and 2/10. That's between 2 and 3, so it will be somewhere about here. And negative 2 and 4/10 is almost a half. So if this is the halfway mark, it's going to be a little less, so about here. So which one of these two numbers is closer to 0? And hopefully we're saying negative 2 and 2/10. So your solution is greater than. So once again, the solution is greater than. Let's go to the next page and work on example 2. So here we have negative 1 and 82 hundredths, and we have negative 1 and 81 hundredths. So if we put these on the number line, we have one that's just about here, and this one is just a little more to the right. I'm just going to place it right above. Oh. I just want you to be able to see it. Okay, so here we are. We have negative 81 hundredths, which is right about where it is, and 82 hundredths over here. Which one of these numbers is just a bit closer to the right? And hopefully we are saying negative 81 hundredths. Our answer would be less than. So we're going to take 3 11ths, 3, and divide that by 11. 11 can't go into 3, so we add a decimal and a 0. 11 goes into 30 2 whole times. We get 22. Subtract, we get 8. Add a 0 and bring down. 11 goes into 80 7 times. We get 77. So we get 77 here. With 3 left over, we could add another 0 and bring down. 11 goes into 30 2 times. So if you notice here, the pattern is going to keep repeating 2 7 2 7 2 7. So negative 5 and 3 11ths is equal to negative 5 equal to negative 5.27 repeating, so 5 and 27 hundredths repeating, and they're both negatives. So what I want to take a look at this point are the number that's closer to 0. So if I take these two numbers and place them on the number line, 5 and 22 hundredths is just a little greater than 5. So we'll move these numbers down here towards negative 5 on the number line. And 5 and 22 hundredths is right about here. And negative 5 and 27 hundredths is right about here, give or take. The estimation's a little off. So we want to look at the number that is closer to 0, which would be negative 5 and 22 hundredths. So our solution would be greater than. All right, let's go to number 6. In number 6, we want to rewrite both of these fractions as decimals, and they are going to take a little bit of work. So please work with me and make sure that you copy this entire example down. For negative 2 and 13 over 16, we're going to take 13 and we're going to divide that by 16. So what I did for you here is I provided you with the 16 facts. So please take a moment and write 16 times 1, 16 times 2 with the solution. Okay, and I gave you all the answers right there. So take a minute and copy that list down. So that just avoids having to figure out what all the products are later. Okay, so can 16 go into 13? Hopefully you are saying no. So what we're going to do is add a decimal point and a 0. How many 16s go into 130? If we take a look at our list, we cannot go over 130. So we get 16 times 8, which gives us 128. Okay, from here we have 2 left over. Add a 0 and bring down. 16 into 20 is 1. Subtract, we get 4. Add a 0, bring down. 16 into 40, if we take a look at our list, is 2. 8 times 2 is 16. We're going to subtract. We get 24. There's just a tiny mistake, sorry about that. 16 times 2 is 32, not 14. So let's just fix that. We get 32. When we subtract, we get 8 left over. If we add another 0 and bring down, we get 80. And 16 times 5 would be 80, so we get a 0 for a remainder. So negative 2 and 13/16 equals negative 2 and 8,125 thousandths. Okay, there you go. I typed that in for you. So now what we're going to do is take our next fraction, and we are going to divide that out as well. So set up your paper. We're going to do 11 divided by 14. So 11 divided by 14. Again, we're dividing by a slightly larger number, so I provided you with the 14 times tables. We're just counting by 14s. So 14, and then 14 plus 14 is 28. 14 times 3, or add another 14, is 42, and so on. And all you need to do is go to 9. So I cannot divide 14 into 11, so I'm going to add a decimal point and a 0. Okay, 14 into 110 without going over 110, my answer would be 7. 7 times 14 is 98. And now we subtract. Add a 0. 14 into 120 without going over is 8. 14 times 8 is 112. Let's subtract. We get 8 again. Add a 0. So if you notice, 14 into 80 is 5 times. 14 times 5 is 70. 10 left over. Add a 0, bring down. 14 into 100 is 7, and that means I'll be repeating again. So our final solution, if we take a look at what we got here, will be -2, what is happening here, 0.7857. And there's your final solution. Any questions? Please be sure you jot them down and ask in class tomorrow. See you later.